Does anyone else remember Meet the Deedles? It was this Disney movie back in 1998. It was about two rich surfer bros who go to Yellowstone National Park and try to save Old Faithful. It was very, very 90s. It had Paul Walker and this other guy named Steve Van Warmer. Very, very weird movie that I remember from my childhood. It's definitely the weirdest movie that Paul Walker's ever done. Or at least I wish I could say it was the weirdest movie Paul Walker's ever done. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but I was thinking about it the other day, so I'm gonna give it a rewatch. I think it's one of those movies that's been forgotten over time. It's still on Disney Plus, though, if you want to give it a watch. My dick fell off! MC Gainey's in this movie? The bearded guy from Lost? So if you're wondering who the Deedles are, they're these two surfer bros that I think they're seniors in high school, and they don't look like high school students at all. They're like super rich, or their dad's super rich. So because they're rich and dumb, and it's their birthday, they ditch school to go paragliding. Fully legal and living regal. Anyway, the whole stunt leads to their expulsion, and their dad decides to send them to camp, whatever that means. The dad, played by Eric Braeden, is convinced that sending them to work under his nom buddy or whatever, that somehow he's going to whip them into shape. But there's also like the Deedles empire. We're not really sure what their dad does at this point.
You two are going to camp.
Camp?
As it happens, I remember an old nun buddy of mine called Ed Flower. He runs a camp for boys your age.
Oh, it's their 18th birthday, right?
Camp Broken Spirit?
It's called Camp Broken Spirit.
Just outside Yellowstone.
I'm not really sure who this is for. I don't know if this is for, comedy lovers, or if this is for, because, there's kind of a rom-com element to it, or if this is for children. I watched it as a chillin', so I don't know.
Stu, man, we've landed in a Slurpee.
This weird thing they do in the airport is the only thing I really remember from the movie. As far as I know, that doesn't add anything to the plot. They just kind of make drinks with this weird little booth.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
And they don't give it to anyone, they just drink it themselves.
Hoolas! Somebody sure got whacked with the ugly stick.
I don't know why they're such bullies to MC Gainey. He didn't do anything to them.
Mr. Bigfoot, Mr. Sasquatch D. Bigfoot, please pick up a late courtesy phone.
Rich kids, am I right?
You got a lot of nerd flower.
You're a total scam meister.
Yeah, and you fully hoodwinked our normally unhoodwinkable dad.
They have an unhoodwinkable dad.
There ain't no Camp Broken Spirit anymore.
I guess MC Gainey is the nom friend that their dad was talking about. And he tells them that Camp Broken Spirit he lost to the lawyers from the parents.
I lost it to the dang parents and their scumbag lawyers.
I'm not surprised.
Even a skinny squirrel makes a fine fur jockstrap.
Did he just say a squirrel makes a fine jockstrap?
Insert laugh here.
They drive off the road somehow. They run into some people's campsite. They completely ruin it, and then they get flown from the car and land in a nearby river. A lot of car hijinks in this movie. So MC Gainey, thinking he just killed the Deedle boys, runs away because he doesn't want to get thrown in jail for murder. So they get some clothes from the campsite that they ruined, and then because they're skater bros, they just skate the rest of the way to camp. And somehow their little suitcase thing that had their drink maker booth is skating on its own. Movie logic. So on the way there, there's a circus truck that they pass, and they cause the truck to crash, and the animals in the back of the circus truck escape. And it's like a bear, a lion, and an elephant. This is definitely a cartoon that they filmed. All right, so they make it to Yellowstone National Park, but they knock themselves out because they're klutzy. The people that work at Yellowstone think that they're recruits to be park rangers. Oh yeah, they think their names are Mel and Mo because they were written on their shirts. Sure. Everybody writes their names on their clothing, don't you know? A lot of movie logic in this movie.
They think we're ranger rookies. Oh, bonus round!
Bonus round. I'm gonna start saying that.
We can boomerang triumphant as two prestigious, uniform-sporting, badge-flashing rangers of the Yellowstone Park Service.
Because they crashed that circus truck and the animals are running loose, some of the lions are terrorizing the real Mel and Mo, and that's why they haven't showed up to claim their identity, or to prove their identity, or disprove their identity. You know what I mean? I know Stu, the younger one.
2 minutes.
I think he wants to stay to avoid having to go back and explain things to their dad. Paul Walker wants to stay because he has the hots for the ranger chick that's teaching them.
She's not like any girl I met before, man. She's special. And when I see her, I hear harps and elevator tunes, and these cartoony hearts start floating around my head.
Bro, you talked to her one time. You've known her for less than a day.
If that's not love, then what is it?
Hard to argue with that logic.
Insert laugh here.
So the antagonist is a old guy who was a park ranger who tried to get some of the old geysers flowing. He ended up injuring 6 people, so he got fired. And so now he's out for revenge. I think that's what's going on. Is that Freddy Krueger? That looks like Robert Englund. Englund? Robert Englund. Robert Englund. Englund. I speech the words good.
These rookies are gonna solve the park's big prairie dog problem.
I still think it's weird that they're putting this whole prairie dog problem on the shoulders of 2 rookies. I still think that's very weird.
Pull my finger!
I know it's stupid. Like, I know it's stupid. But I kind of like this movie. Okay.
Hi, Phil. Hey, Daddy.
Daddy.
What if Paul Walker thought she was calling him Daddy? That's what I thought for a minute there. Deedles.
Have a great day.
Dang, that is so much sugar and so much product placement.
I feel like a supermodel.
Mr. Crab,
His name is Mr. Crab.
get over to Yellowstone, watch for those experts.
Mr. Crab should have been played by Clancy Brown. Maybe they asked Clancy Brown and he was like, nah, I'm good. She drinks Diet Coke because she's a wayman. I like that Phil adopts this little prairie dog and calls him Petey the P-dog. I don't know if he put it there or if the prairie dog just has it, but he has a little ring around his eye and it makes me think of Little Rascals. And I think the dog's name in Little Rascals was also Petey. Is he feeding him licorice? Their plan is to gas the prairie dogs out because Stu hacks into an old CIA database.
Hacked into an old CIA database, and there it was.
Sure, hackers be hacking.
This declassified document detailing a gas the CIA was going to use in Cuba in the early 60s. We'll whip some up and use it on the prairie dogs.
We're just along for the ride. Don't ask questions. They strapped the dangerous chemicals that they just whipped up to Petey the P-dog and shove him into the little groundhog holes. But the gas makes them want to themselves. Why do I still like this movie? I don't know. Is there something wrong with me?
Who would do something like this?
Road beavers.
It holds up, okay? It holds up. The comedy is there. If you can't understand it, there's something wrong with you.
Insert laugh here.
All right, well, I'm gonna go get some coffee. I'll be right back. All right. Got my coffee. It is a brand new day because I needed a break after the first half of this movie, but we're back to finish it again.
Who are those guys? I don't know, but they're good.
How much did they pay Robert Englund to be in this movie? That's what I want to know. Is that where the budget went? So they use deep heating rub that they want to put on the prairie dogs so that heat sensors can pick them up. Trying to work out their plan is a bit of a chore. They also try to entertain children by teaching them fire safety. One of them dresses up like a bear and they call him Rat Master Sparky. Robert Englund and Mr. Crab decide that they're going to assassinate them with crossbows in front of the children.
They do it themselves if they could.
Oh, man, I'll never have cubs.
Also, the bad guy figures out their plan just by grabbing a prairie dog and sniffing it.
Mentholatum, deep heating rub.
Oh yeah, Phil and Ryan go on a hike together. For some reason, Lieutenant Ryan is obsessed with eating bugs. Why? Just why?
I think your wave is pretty craveable, too.
How can she see the cover of the movie? So the real Mel and Mo show up, the people that they're impersonating. Basically, the jig is up.
Where's your evil twin, Doodle?
All while Jesse and Phil are on their date.
We don't need surfers in Yellowstone.
We don't need surfers in Yellowstone. That should be the tagline for the movie. While they're flying in the helicopter's flying extremely low. It's obviously in front of a green screen. All of a sudden, the helicopter gets shot at. Captain Mustache flies out of the helicopter and lands in the lake. Lands in the river. It's a river, Dad. It's called a river.
It's a river, Dad. It's called a river.
Oh, they're gonna use their surfing to save the day, of course. This movie is a cartoon. They take their surfboards onto the river and they surf down the river to save Captain Mustache. And Captain Mustache decides to promote them to Ranger just because they saved his life. Then they decide to have a luau to celebrate the fact that they're Rangers now. Then everybody dances super weird. Man, everybody's at this party. Circus animals, bad guys. So bad guy sneaks into their tent and he finds the P-dog plan. Was Slater about to slit Stu's throat? That's a little extreme for a Disney movie. I mean a dick flick. Dick! Yay, more forced romance. Disney movie. Okay. Dick. Okay, so now they're explaining to the park their grand plan to get rid of the prairie dogs. They tracked them via satellite. Now their plan is to put cherry bombs into the prairie dog holes. They're gonna blow up the prairie dogs. I'm having trouble following the plot of this movie. I guess the bad guys intercepted the cherry bombs and put them near Old Faithful and caused her not to be Old Faithful? How does that work? How does exploding Old Faithful make her not be a geyser? I'm so confused. They all just accuse them of killing Old Faithful because of this. They shove him in the back of a truck and just they drive right outside Yellowstone and just throw him out. So their plan to get back into Yellowstone is to attach their paraglider onto an oncoming car, and the car that they choose just happens to be MC Gainey's. So they meet the bad guy, his name is Slater, and his plan is to somehow disable Old Faithful. Okay, so his plan is to reroute Old Faithful to an extinct geyser, and then he's gonna rename it and put his name all over it? How's that work? If it gets rerouted, who cares? It's still owned by the park, right? Does he own that geyser? Does he own the geyser?
New Faithful of Slaterstone.
This is a bad plan, right? Like, this plan makes no sense to me. Anyway, so then this happens. Oh, they got all the prairie dogs in cages. At least they let all the prairie dogs go. The ones that they were so willing to blow up with cherry bombs.
Whoa, Petey! Still, man, you missed it! Petey, whack Slater!
I knew Petey the P-dog would come back. Okay, so they decide to use Slater's machine to reroute it back to Old Faithful, to where it originally was going, the water. Meanwhile, Captain Mustache has a weird meltdown on the podium in front of everyone.
Deedle! 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 Deedle!
So the Deedle boys decide to ride Old Faithful out while it's erupting. This movie is way more wild than I remember. How is Slater alive?
So, Deedle, where are you going now? We're going to Deedlestone!
I thought they were going to say Disneyland. I guess the geyser had so much water in it that it creates like a lake. But since it's constantly erupting, the lake around it kind of creates a wave pool. They make a new tourist attraction out of this that they call Deedlestone, and now it's a place in Yellowstone that they can surf, because the surfing element has to come back in some way. And oh look, they earned the respect of their father. That was the whole point of the movie, right? The whole movie ends with them running to the lake to go surfing in freeze frame.
Dude, that's so ridiculous, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a wild movie. I still kind of like it, though. Now that we looked at the movie, I'm going to check out the budget for this film was $24 million estimated. Opening weekend, US and Canada, it made just over $2 million. Yikes. Someone definitely messed up the marketing. Or people saw the trailer and were like, nope. You know what? It was probably Roger Ebert's review.
Deedles? Oh, Roger, don't. Deedles, Deedles. Stop it, Roger.
Where do you think the budget went? I think the budget went to Robert Englund. No, I'm kidding. I think the budget went to like the circus animals maybe, and like the helicopter and the green screen and like all the wave like surfing shots maybe. Did they actually film in Yellowstone? That's what I want to know. Let's read some reviews of Meet the Deedles. Meet the gazillionth ripoff of Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure had a certain charm to it, a wit if you will. Oh my god, this is so long. Only watch Meet the Deedles if there's nothing on TV. I don't recommend it to you as a good film, but rather an awful one. See it and witness pure stinkiness on film. Yeah, people keep comparing it to Bill and Ted, I guess because they're like bro dudes, you know, and they go like, whoa, and it's like kind of like stoner comedies without the minus the weed. They're like simple-minded bro dudes who go on an adventure and do something. So I guess it's kind of like that. Beyond Chinese water torture, that's pretty funny. There are many kinds of bad movies. Some are just lame, the recent Star Wars movies. Others are so bad they're actually good. And there's that rare abomination that's just too horrid for words. Folks, this is Meet the Deedles. Folks, that's me.
You? That's me!
I think it's funny that the writer that wrote Meet the Deedles also wrote Meet the Parents and Meet the Fockers. I guess he likes naming things Meet the something. Not a criticism, just an observation. If it was possible to give a negative score, I would. It's not funny, the actors are bad, and there is absolutely no moral in the story. Let's think what the moral is, actually. What is the moral? They're trying to grow up, they're trying to take responsibility, they're trying to earn the respect of their dad. So there's sort of a moral there, because I would say, this is funny that I'm thinking of a moral for Meet the Deedles. I'd say the moral of this story is you have to grow up sometime and you have to take responsibility, I guess. I'm really disappointed to see Dennis Hopper starring in this movie. I hope he donated the salary to poor people, otherwise he shouldn't have a reason to be there. He's got to get paid, okay? People gotta pay their bills. I'd say that's a reason. Paul Walker, exclamation mark. I mean, they're not wrong. Phil is better because the ranger girl wants to go out with the forest to eat worms, like the gross white maggot kind. It's pretty wild how Phil Deedle grew up to become Paul Walker, and the other guy was in Bubble Boy or something. Petey the P-dog was cute, but not the same way Paul Walker is. P.U. Thumbs down. Man, this wasn't even a decent kids movie. The only funny part was the cross-dressing. What cross-dressing? When they grabbed the like sweaters from Mel and Mo? That wasn't really cross-dressing, was it? Don't even rent this one at the risk of stinking up your house. Great for a babysitter. Great for a babysitter? Like you put it on and like the movie babysits the kids. That's what I do with Game of Thrones. I just put it on and my daughter's hooked. 10 out of 10, Deedlicious. Best movie that I have ever seen. Acting, jokes, and most of all the P-dogs are Deedlicious. Fun, stupid eye candy for Paul Walker fans and kids, just like Fast and the Furious. I'm not going to waste my time commenting on such a travesty, so I'll sum it up in 2 words. This sucks. And then he goes to write more. Why did Dennis Hopper have to meet the Deedles? The circus animals were the best actors in there. And what a bad commercial for Yellowstone National Park. They should sue the producers of this movie. Do yourself a favor, buy all copies of this movie and recycle it. It doesn't belong anywhere. Call me crazy, but I kind of like it. I can relate to this one. This is my review. Did I write this? So that was Meet the Deedles. I just remembered it from my childhood. I watched it growing up, and I remember it being really weird, and so I decided to check it out. Anyway, that'll be all for today. I need to rest my brain and watch something else. If you're wondering if this channel is like full of good movies and bad movies, the answer is yes. Usually we talk about movies that do fly under the radar, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. We just like to mix it up a little. Once in a blue moon, we'll do a movie that's a little more popular, like we plan on doing American Psycho pretty soon. Anyway, that's all for today, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.